Hello, good morning, and welcome to another out-of-spec motoring video. We are taking, not the Archimoto, the Tesla Model 3 Performance on a road trip. Me and Alyssa are going to Nebraska from here in Colorado to go collect a Mustang Mach-E. Yes, the electric Mustang, and then we're going to be road tripping it back here. I'll explain a little bit more, but we're super pumped. It is currently just after 4 in the morning. We have the car. Last night I topped it up to 90%. This morning I woke up and bumped it up to 90 or 100% indicated. Right now it's charging at, let's see, 21 amps. So at 94%, I think the BMS is just a little confused as to where the top of the pack is. You can see the Tesla T is pulsing very slowly. This, again, if you're just new to the channel, is our Tesla Model 3 Performance. We've had it a year and a half. It is about to kick over 80,000 miles. For this trip, we're running on the Martian MW03 wheels, as we always do for road trips. These are great wheels, 18-inch in the narrowest form, good for range, and we have them wrapped in Nokian Hakkapeliitta R3 winter tires. And yeah, pretty good tires for sure. And we are going to be heading off to Kearney, Nebraska. It's about 5 hours without charging. So let's say a 10-hour, 12-hour round trip or so should be pretty good. Alyssa and I are going to drive on the way there. We're going to meet our friend EV Dave. This is a sort of a collaboration between his channel and ours to buy this Mustang Mach-E. And then we are going to take the Mustang Mach-E back to here, and it should be pretty neat. Well, this looks fairly easy. Looks like we're going to have one stop in Ogallala, and then we're off to Kearney. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do for charging out this way, though, because as you can see, there's no supercharger in Kearney. So we'll probably stop here in Gothenburg and charge up just enough to get to Kearney and back to here. But for now, I think this is the first supercharger on our way. So we're topped up again to 95% state of charge. Drive all the way over here. And Ogallala is the first one. Should be a fairly long stretch. Let's just take a look at the mileage. 190 miles. Well, that's quite a bit for this car, but we have the Aero wheels on it, so let's do it. Real quiet morning here in town. Normally this intersection is backed up for miles. This is pretty neat, actually. I don't think I've ever seen it this desolate here. Anyway, we are off. We're taking a different route than we have before. Looks like we're on this road here for 102 miles. I don't think I've ever gone past just a couple miles up this road, so lots of new views to explore. The sad thing about not North Carolina, I'm still thinking we live back there. The sad thing about eastern Colorado is it is fairly boring. Eastern Colorado is a little bit like Kansas, I think, which is just flat ground, farmland, and not too much anything interesting. We sort of are the last town before the mountain range starts. So just behind us are all the towering Rocky Mountains. But now we are heading in the opposite direction to Ogallala, which we also stopped at on the Cannonball when we took the 4S, the Taycan 4S across the country just a couple months ago now. Looks like this road over to the main highway for the next 100 miles or so, 95 miles, is super desolate. One-way roads, and auto high beams is doing a pretty good job, actually. So as soon as that car starts to enter our beam, there we go, boom, just comes off of high beam and switches back to regular headlights. Typically I do not use auto high beams. I just use normal let me have manual control, because on the highway it goes on and on and on and off, and it's really actually quite annoying. But on a road like this, single lane road, it can react quite quickly, and especially here at night with varying traffic, it's doing a good job of adjusting the headlights for me. Autopilot lets you drive 5 miles per hour over the speed limit on a road like this because it's not a controlled access highway, so we are just cruising at 70 miles an hour in very desolate Colorado, which is kind of crazy to us. We've never been over here. This is just on the outside of our town, and we've always been exploring into the mountains for obvious reasons rather than out here, but definitely should come out here sometime because just seems super cool, and there's windmills and other neat stuff out here. This is what our arrival into Ogallala looks like. We're tracking cruising just at 70 miles an hour, but really cold temperatures and big elevation changes means we are going to be pulling in with fumes. I'm just managing our charge right now. kind of keeping an eye on our speeds. All is good. The car thinks we need to stay below 65. They don't know how we road trip here. And Alyssa just went into the back seat. You probably can't see, just to take a quick little nap. And so I am at the helm as usual. The sun is just starting to come up here at 5:26 a.m. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, wow, this is so neat. We just haven't seen another person for a really long time, except for those trucks way up in front of us. Have a 1% predicted arrival into Ogallala, which is perfect. It's, you know, proper road tripping here, eking out every bit of energy we had available and using it on our drive. We are just pulling into the Ogallala supercharger. The Electrify America station that we stopped at, can't remember exactly where it was, somewhere around here, of course. I really like this supercharger, and have I missed the entrance to the parking lot? Yes, but I think we should do some off-roading. Looks like we can get back to it this way. So let's go through this dirt lot, rally car style. This is what happens when you run low on charge and I'm driving and we miss turns. We'll come in the back way through this parking lot here. And boom, here we are. See, I like this supercharger install because if you have a trailer, you can just pull up along the back side and plug in. And yeah, that's pretty neat for sure. So, throwing it in reverse. Got to clean that backup camera. It is dirty from all the Colorado winter salt and schmutz. And battery low, 2% state of charge. Let's get this thing plugged in. Alyssa, how was your nap?
Good.
Good? Feeling all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. Plug it in. And we're in. I can hear the charger over there clicking away. I can hear this one going. Of course, we're going to get max speeds, at least let's hope, as long as 2B is healthy. You know, if someone was on 2A, I always say on version 2 superchargers, never share with the number A and B. Always grab your own post, your own number. And here we are ramping up. Let's take a look at the numbers. Ramping up to 100 plus kilowatts. Nice, that sounds good. This will increase as state of charge increases. As pack voltage comes up, we will get a little bit more power. I think we might walk over, get some breakfast at McDonald's. For all your future Tesla campers, if you're going to be having cyber trucks and wanting to camp, this is an awesome spot. There's actually a little campground on this lake right here. There's a designated dog walk with like poop bags and all that good stuff, and a really good supercharger. And you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and this is like one of the few towns out here, and it's a good spot, really cool, right along this this nice little lake. So let's walk over, get some breakfast, and let this thing charge up. We have been here for exactly 20 minutes. We are charged up to 90 kilowatts. Didn't end up getting any breakfast. You weren't in the mood for any Mickey D's, were you?
Nope.
She's still waking up. It takes Alyssa a good, what, 8 hours in the morning just to get moving, and then it's ready for bed?
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, we are, yeah, we have a 20% arrival in Gothenburg. So here's my thought for the rest of the day. The Ford dealer that we are picking up this special car, the Mustang Mach-E First Edition, is right here in Kearney. And right, we're going to need a lot of juice to not only get there, but then there's no charger there. We need to come back. So we need enough juice to get there and then back to Gothenburg. It'll probably be faster, since we're tapered way down to 87 kilowatts right now. It'll probably be faster just to hop over to the Gothenburg, Nebraska supercharger. Just hop there, charge up enough just to do this round trip. Maybe we'll try and plug in on a level 2 at the Ford dealer if they have it. And then that should be the move. What do you think, Alyssa?
Sounds perfect.
Still waking up, aren't you?
It's 8 o'clock.
Alyssa, we sat right there at the supercharger for 20 minutes. And then as we're pulling out, you say,
that I'm hungry. I just got hungry, okay? It just comes and goes.
crazy.
Sorry.
Crazy. All right, let's get you some McDonald's. Back on the road, beautiful morning, 45 degrees, warming up. We're in Hershey, Nebraska, and heading over past North Platte to Gothenburg. Should arrive with 18-19%, something like that. Nice day for an autopilot cruise. It'll be really interesting to try the Mustang's Copilot 360 in a little bit, do some comparing. We'll have tons of videos comparing both on our Out of Spec Reviews channel. So if you don't follow Out of Spec Reviews, that's where we do car reviews, electric and combustion, but that's mainly what we're getting the Mach-E for, is to do comparisons with ID4, Model Y, XC40 Recharge, Polestar 2, you name it. And yeah, all good on our side, just having a blast. Well, I am. I don't know about you. It's kind of a boring drive. We are taking the exit for Gothenburg, Nebraska. And yeah, there's the superchargers over there at the Comfort Suites. Hey, Alyssa, do you remember we stayed at this hotel with Blue and Ellie?
We did?
Remember this? Yeah, because on our summer road trip, maybe not. I think it was when we went out to Colorado. I think it was the first trip we took in this car. We stayed at this hotel because...
Blue and Ellie, did we?
Yes, we did. On our first trip to Colorado. In this one.
Oh. Well, it looks like a comforted suites. Yep.
Yeah, well, I think we were planning on continuing, but then we just decided to stay here. And I think I had to upload a video, and they had good Wi-Fi, something like this. And yeah, we're back at the Comfort Suites in Gothenburg, Nebraska. Why do I have such trouble saying and thinking about the state of Nebraska? Meanwhile, it's the next state over from where we live now. I guess we got to get used to coming here. What's up?
I have the keys
To what?
to Lexus.
Oh, well, that's fine. Nothing's going on with that car today.
Okay.
That's for the channel Alyssa edits for Out of Spec Reviews. We have a Lexus RX 450h in for review.
Woo!
Let's go in. There looks like to be a Model Y charging. Let's get this thing juicing up. We are at 18% state of charge. Let's get this thing juicing up. We are ramped up to 136 kilowatts. We haven't gotten peak speeds in this car in a long time at a supercharger. Maybe it's the winter, maybe it's new software, maybe that's just because this battery pack is getting a little old. Everything's moved around in this new software, but we are gonna hit 80,000 miles today, folks. 79,750 on this thing. We've had it a year and a half. So we are going over to the Ford dealer, which is here. We need to make sure we have enough juice to get back to here. So it's gonna take 10 minutes to charge to get there. This is going to be a pretty long charging session, I imagine, because let's just take a look as to how many miles it is. 64 miles, so we're going to need probably 70% state of charge before we head out of here, maybe 75 just to be safe. I got carried away making TikToks on how superchargers work. Yes, I am all over TikTok. I love it. Really cool. Started 4 weeks ago. Awesome platform. Really fun. Great way to connect with a new audience. And yep, so we charged up to 79% and we are ready to rock and roll to the Ford dealer. We are exiting in Kearney, Nebraska. This is where the dealership location is. We just spoke to Dave. Sounds like he's rolling into town just a few minutes before us. What good timing for this. So let's run up over to the dealer, and they have confirmed there is a Starbucks on premise, which is awesome. Right at the same parking lot, they have a Starbucks. Apparently, this is a pretty large town, Dave was saying. He just drove through Kearney. I've never heard of it, but sounds like a lot of agricultural business out here. And we should have plenty of range to get back to the charging station in Gothenburg, although the winds are pretty strong in the opposite direction. This looks like a pretty neat town. We got a giant library on our right. We got a home builder show coming up. Lots of neat stuff around here. It's kind of this town in the middle of nowhere. You're just driving on I-80 and then boom, you're here. Let's go find that Starbucks. What could be better? Starbucks and Mustang Mach-E's. So we're pulling in here to Platte Valley Auto. They've been super nice and helpful. A lot of dealerships have been charging over MSRP for these specialty Mustangs, especially the first editions. You see, these aren't cars that dealers can stock on their lot because a first edition sold out very quickly and it had to be a customer order. Ooh, there it is. And basically what happened was a customer ordered this car. You see it? There it is. And I guess he had a problem with vision and ended up going blind. And yeah, unfortunately just couldn't take delivery. So they listed it for sale. There was another similar situation at our local Ford store, who's awesome. We love to work with them, but they were charging $5,000 over sticker plus like an $800 dealer fee and all this stuff. And this is at MSRP. Actually, Dave got a $100 discount, and yeah, ready to rock and roll. So let's just back in. You can see Dave's here on his Martian wheels on his Model Y. And we will be ready to go here momentarily. Dave, how do you feel about the Mustang?
Hey, I think it's really great.
Pretty neat. Nice glass roof in this one.
Yeah, my buddy Kyle found it up here in Kearney, Nebraska, of all places.
I know. Never did I think we would be here.
And who in the heck would drive from North Carolina all the way to Kearney, Nebraska to pick up a Grabber Blue Mach-E, first edition? Me.
Only you. So we've got the Mustang all set up with the navigation in for the first supercharging stop. Funny enough, the Teslas need to charge, but the Mustang can go farther because we're leaving with a full charge right now. Alyssa is going to be taking on the Model 3. I'm going to drive the Model Y for the first leg. Dave's going to take the Mustang, and then we will switch, and then I'll end up taking the Mustang back to Colorado. When we fork off, Dave's going to go up to Wyoming. We're going to go down to Colorado, and should be a pretty great trip. I'm very much looking forward to spending some time with this over the next few weeks. All right, here I am in Dave's Tesla Model Y Performance. Somehow the card is linked to Sue. I used to have a profile in here, but so many people drive this car, I think I have lost it. That is okay. We have 120 miles of predicted range. I'm not sure what that is in percent. You guys know I don't know how to deal with miles of range because it's not accurate. I always go to, what am I doing here? Energy, 41%. That's right about where our Model 3 is, so that's perfect. We'll put it back there. We're going to go to the Gothenburg supercharger, and that is going to be right here. Boom. Let's rock and roll. Dave's filming with the Mach-E. Alyssa's got the Model 3. We are getting ready to rock and roll. And off we go, leaving Platte Valley Auto. Awesome group of people here. They even have a charger installed, which for Nebraska is actually a pretty big deal. Everyone there was super excited about Mustang Mach-E, and gotta say, that was pretty awesome. Just following Alyssa in the Model 3, which is, I guess, technically her car now, and following Dave in the Mustang Mach-E. We just finished up a pretty good lunch at Jimmy John's. I was talking to Dave a little bit about the Mustang. He seems to be pretty into it. You know, he bought this car, obviously, for us to use, for him to use, for all of the media coverage we're going to be doing with it, just to test it and comparisons. But he's really a Tesla guy, so this will be a true test of if Dave will like a non-Tesla vehicle. Here he comes.
Water.
Getting the water. All right. And yeah, I'm curious to see how he likes driving it. So we'll check in with him at the supercharger, and then we got to figure out a way to charge that car because the superchargers and the EAs are not all at the same exit. So our road trip kind of has to get staggered up a little bit. It's going to be interesting. We're only doing this for, I think, 100 miles, and then we'll break off and Alyssa and I will go home. But charging with two different types of connectors is a little bit tedious. Well, it looks like Alyssa's having quite an animated phone conversation behind us. We are just sitting on the on-ramp here waiting for Dave to come in the Mustang. We had to go through busy Kearney, Nebraska with all of the traffic lights, of course. And yep, just waiting for Dave to come up in the Mustang, and then we are ready to rock and roll. We are just pulling off this exit on the way because Dave is having some trouble getting Copilot 360 to work in the Mustang, which is very similar to like a driver assistance autopilot type situation. And basically what we're going to do is just try and get it to turn on. We think maybe we didn't enable a setting when we picked it up. We didn't ask for any delivery from the Ford dealer, although they offered. I figured we could learn about the car on our own. We probably know more than they do, perhaps, maybe on some things, maybe on not others, but this will be neat to at least check out. Yeah, this dumbass over here couldn't figure out how to turn it on, because what you have to do is go to cruise control and put it to intelligent. Now, adaptive cruise control will, of course, do adaptive. Intelligent reacts to speed limits as well. Okay. So if the car detects the speed slows down,
good deal,
it will slow down.
Good.
Cool.
I failed.
No, you're good.
I failed.
We got to see this beautiful rest stop off of I-80.
Yeah.
How else would we have ever seen this?
It's a beauty.
We are just about a half a mile from our exit. Right up here, we can see it. Lissa is pulling off. I think she has somewhere around 3 or 4% state of charge. We're not far off here in the Model Y. The Model Y is predicting 12 miles of rated range. I'm not sure what that is in percentage. I guess Dave is silly and keeps his car in miles and not percent, and that is so inaccurate because we had like 120 miles of range, rated EPA range at the Ford dealer. It was only like 70 miles on the way here, and we used almost all of it. So that's why I use percent, and yep, just certainly am more comfortable with that. You can see Dave's behind us in the Mustang. It's a really good looking car, especially in grabber blue. That is the color to have. So now we are heading to the supercharger, which I guess is right back over here where Alyssa is going. And yeah, we're gonna find it somewhere. I think we were just here, but none of this looks familiar to me, unless I really just wasn't paying attention. Why can I not, for the life of me, think about where the supercharger is? This is weird. It's at the Comfort Suites. Oh yeah, we need to go around the backside to the Comfort Suites. I forgot. Looks like Alyssa took the off-road route as a shortcut. Yeah, I don't know why that looked so unfamiliar. We came right from there. That was weird. And so there are the superchargers. We're gonna plug the Model 3 and the Model Y in on different cabinets so they can both pull max power. Nothing we can do about the Mustang Mach-E. There's not even a level 2 here, I believe, that we can plug it in at. So we will see for sure. All right, here we are plugging in the Model Y. Turned out to warm up quite nicely here. Model Y is plugged in. Alyssa's juicing the Model 3. Dave is looking silly with a Mustang at a Tesla supercharger. Hopefully he doesn't back it in. That would be really funny. What state of charge are you at, Alyssa? 3%. Proper road tripping right there. You missed your way on the way in. Didn't that look unfamiliar coming in, like we were never here?
No, I wanted to see what those animal things were.
Oh, so you knew where you were. You were just exploring.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, juicing up the Y. 2 Teslas on Martian wheels. Looking good. And we are only getting 113 kilowatts. Not amazing, but we are pretty low state of charge. If it doesn't ramp up much higher, we may try switching to another one. But right now there's a 6 stall. Alyssa's on 1. I'm on 2. They are on 3. So we are maxing out the supercharger for sure. In the Model Y, I've been averaging just about 415, 420 watt hour per mile. I'm not sure what Alyssa did, but we're going pretty good into the wind. We have, doing 80 miles an hour with quite a bit of gusty scenario. Wouldn't you say, Dave?
I would say so. Very gusty, and it's coming from our left side. So
Yeah, it's really hitting us. And so the 400 plus watt hour per mile is not very good in the Tesla, of course, but kind of to be expected given the speeds and the conditions. However, the Mustang is even worse at 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which is 480, 490 watt hour per mile. You also probably took it a little bit more easily than we did on the on-ramps. Did you juice it at all? Or
I did, just once.
Oh, okay. How'd it feel, by the way?
Just once. I'm not sure what drive mode I'm in. Let's
Right.
see. I'm just in a medium drive mode right now. I haven't put it to the max, so I may try that the next hop, but we need to calculate our next charge stop for this.
Yeah, so we'll put in the next EA charger here for these. Those cars will leave charging. They have another 10-15 minutes before they start to taper off max speeds, and we'll figure it out from there. Alyssa, you had a great charging session. I was monitoring. You had about 143 kilowatts, which is the best charging session we've had on this car in a while. Even considering version 3 chargers, that's really awesome. Consistent 143. It's nice out. What does your car say for temperature? It says 75 Fahrenheit. It's a little bit chillier than that, I think. The Mustang's showing 68, and but that's probably, it always shows a higher temperature when you're charging and things get warm. So we're just about ready to go on this one. Let's take a look at the Model Y and see if this is ready to go. The Mustang, since we left with a full charge, will make it to Ogallala, where there is both an Electrify America DC fast charger as well as a supercharger. So let's just turn the fan down there. All right, we are going to Ogallala. North up, zoom out, and this one, it's only 81 miles. See, this is the thing. This is why I don't keep the cars in miles, because it's 81 miles to get there. This shows 165, but at least the Tesla knows that there's no way you'll get 165 miles. So it does say a 15% predicted arrival. With this much wind, I think we'll just wait another couple seconds for this to tick over to say we're ready. That'll give us a 17-18% buffer, and same for the Model 3, and we are ready to go. And just a couple seconds later, we are ready on both cars. There's Tesla number 1. See you there. Mustang Mach-E's getting started up. And Tesla number 2, we are ready to rock and roll. Dave had quite a bit more energy when we left the Ford dealer, so that's why we were able to just charge the Model 3 enough to get there. And again, 12 miles on this was quite a bit more range than Alyssa actually had. Off we go. We are just making it to our exit here in Ogallala. This will be the first stop for the Mustang Mach-E. I imagine we'll head over to the Electrify America charger. You can see Alyssa over there pulling into the supercharger. She rolled away ahead of us, so we're going to plug this Model Y in on the Chatamo at the EA, just so I can see how the Mustang Mach-E charges while we get some juice in the Model Y. And then I'll run over to the supercharger, and we'll all meet up and we'll get ready to go out of here probably in 30-40 minutes, depending on how that Mustang charges. The problem with the Mustang Mach-E, it has a really weird charging curve right now, and I will explain when we get to the charger. I have the Model Y plugged in on the Chatamo here. For some reason, it just showed up as free charging. Here's Dave about to hook up the CCS connection. Now, we have not set up plug and charge on this vehicle yet, but it is possible. It does support plug and charge functionality. So I think what we'll do is we'll open up the charge port here. We have to remove some of that plastic. We can do that later on.
All right.
We'll grab the CCS connector. You can plug it in. Yep, doesn't matter which one. And we'll try and get it to connect. We'll see if it does plug and charge, but I doubt it will. It might just start billing. You get a megawatt hour free.
That's not much.
Yeah, maybe it's not even that much. Maybe it's only 250 kilowatt hour. I don't remember exactly. So now it says it's connecting. So Dave just swiped on the app. We are initiating charging here. This is the first charging session for the Mustang Mach-E. Went into high speed mode here, and contactors are clicking on the Mustang just fine. And we'll see if we can get this thing to charge.
All right, well, there you have it.
Doing 162 kilowatts into the car right there. Nice.
Good. For what, 160 seconds?
Yeah, it's going to do this for a bit, and then it'll ramp down to 110 and then sit at 70 for the rest of its session.
Okay.
Then when it hits 80%, it should drop off a ledge to 11 or 12 kilowatts.
Okay.
We have encountered a charging session error. I noticed as soon as the Mustang clicked, like it had locked, it unlocked the charging port, and it's showing up as an error. The error is, just so we can see exactly, is a vehicle protocol error.
Vehicle protocol error.
They're not speaking the same language here. So let's see what we can do. All right, we are replugging in and we are going to keep the car unlocked this time. We're also going to see if it goes back up to 160 kilowatts because as far as we're aware, this should only do 160 kilowatts for a short period of time. I think something like 160 seconds or 300 seconds, depending on the state of charge that you plug into. It does not dynamically adjust the charging profile given the sensor data. It proactively lowers your charging curve to stop things from heating up, which I don't necessarily agree with. I'm hoping they fix this in future software. They've alluded that they will. So let's see. Initiating just fine. Everything's happy. Car is happy on its side. Let's see if we'll get it. Nope. And unplug. Charging has stopped. So now we have an error. So this is some charging behavior I've not seen on the Mustang Mach-E. At around 48, 49%, we noticed it slowed down, but we didn't realize it was slowing down so much because unfortunately there's no kilowatt power being delivered to the Mustang indication inside. So basically inside the car, all you get is a timing estimate. But we are down to 32 kilowatt at 53%, which is just super unacceptable. So what I think we're gonna try is to unplug and restart the charging session and see if it will go higher. If it doesn't, I'm gonna try on that charger. If it doesn't increase on that charger, then we know it's the car asking for a limited power. But there's no way we're gonna sit here at 32 kilowatts. That's crazy. All right, we have replugged in. I used another handle just in case it was a thermal limitation of that handle, although I don't think it is because we weren't really pulling that much power and certainly not for long at all. We are initiating just fine. Let's see if it goes over. Contactors are clicking everywhere, which is great. Actually, take a look. We're up to 130 kilowatts. So super important that Ford adds a kilowatt meter to the Mustang Mach-E because maybe the car doesn't have an issue. Maybe it's on the charger side. Maybe it's the other way around. But we were sitting here for 10 minutes charging at 30 kilowatts when we should have been charging at 130 kilowatts like we're doing right now, 129. So yep, definitely things to keep an eye on. We are now charged up to 71% state of charge on the Mustang. Dave is heading out, leaving us with the Mustang for the next few, who knows how long, but we'll make as many videos as we can while we have it. And then it will, of course, go to Dave in North Carolina. So make sure you follow his channel and say thanks to Dave for allowing us to use the Mustang that he paid for. So let's unlock the charger, stop the charging session. Here we go. That was a very weird charging session. Took 4 attempts plugging and unplugging to get it to go. Can't say I'm surprised, unfortunately. Let's jump in and head to Fort Morgan, Colorado in the Mustang Mach-E. Cruising along here in the Mustang. Gotta say, for as many charging issues as I expect to have between the Mustang and Electrify America and a weird charging curve on this car, we'll have to do plenty of tests. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because I have not tested this car on production software. I've only tested it on pre-production software. I really think this is a good car. You know, it drives so nice. It's so quiet and refined and solid at speed. We're doing 85 and it just feels so much better than that Model Y I got out of. You know, for someone who can appreciate build quality on a car, real thorough cabin engineering, drivetrain, and specifically suspension calibration, this car just beats out that Model Y. In terms of charging and ease of use, well, we're going to live with it. We're going to see if it's truly worse or better than a Tesla, but I will say starting off, not a good start. Tons of EA charger issues. Again, whether it's on the car side or the charger side, who knows? The first error we had was a vehicle protocol error, which means it would be on the Mustang side, but this should have all been sorted out in the lab. I just don't understand why there's so many charging issues. Sort of kind of tired of it, but take a look at this. As you know, I can't go past a cow without saying cows. Love cows. They are just the coolest animals. And yep, I don't know why, but I've always liked them. They just seem so nice. Anyway, heading home, have 117 miles to our next charging stop, not our first charging stop, and 159 miles of projected range. The screens don't actually flash in real life, and so plenty of buffer to get to this charger. Overcharged a bit at the last one, did some Twitter stuff, have the wireless phone charger going when I'm not filming. Man, this is just a great cruiser, and does it eat up the miles. Two things I really wish we had a little bit better of, which was efficiency. Let's take a look at this trip. Let me show you here on the screen. Now, to be fair, we do have a bit of a side headwind coming at us, and so efficiency, of course, is going to be lower than expected, but 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour. What's that, 490 watt hour per mile or so? Over 180 miles. Yikes, that's not great. The other thing I wish we had was just a little bit better charging curve and higher peak speeds, of course. You know, 160 kilowatts is okay. Doesn't excel, but it's certainly not a bad number. I just wish it would hold it longer and not die, because what my understanding is, this car, based off of my tests and others, as soon as you DC charge it to 80%, it will go to 12 kilowatts. If that wasn't the case, I would have been able to full charge it at that charger. Sure, it may have taken an extra 30 minutes, but not 2.5 hours to get to 100%, and I would have been able to make it home on the same route Alyssa is taking, which is the same way we went this morning. Unfortunately, on the route that I have to take on the way home, I have to diverge south, hit an EA charger. Let me show you here. We'll go north up and zoom out. So what Alyssa's doing is she is going straight across the state right into Fort Collins. I have to go down into Fort Morgan and then up and over into Fort Collins, and certainly is going to add some time to this trip. Well, it sounds like Alyssa missed a turn. She'll be hitting the Brush, Colorado supercharger somewhere around here. We'll meet up at our charger and take a look at this. We caught up to our friend Dave. Hey, Dave. Looking good there, filming each other. Love it. Welcome to beautiful Colorado. Almost missed the sign there, but I think I caught it. Love our welcome to Colorado signs. And we have made it to our home state in the Mustang. Man, Co-Pilot 360 keeping us centered in the lane. Totally great. Can't wait for them to release eye tracking. That is going to be so neat. Awesome glass roof, tons of room. Great space in this car, by the way. Really does drive super, super nice. The problem is, with all non-Tesla EVs, is the charging infrastructure. No question. The cars are great. Efficiency on this particular one may not be amazing at highway speeds. We have a lot of testing to do, of course. We have Volkswagen ID4 coming in a few days as well. We have a low battery warning. Keep hands on steering wheel. My hand is on the wheel. Low battery at 22% state of charge. We have an 8% arrival at the Electrify America in Walmart. And let's see. All seems good. Alyssa should be pulling off to charge somewhere around here. Not too far away at least. And then she'll meet up with us at the EA charger once she's done supercharging. Nasty fire over there. You can see that. I mean, it was puffing out smoke. Couldn't tell what it was, but it almost looked like an electrical substation. So I do see lights on, so it looks like there's power, and Alyssa is supercharging right off of this exit here in Brush, Colorado. And yeah, we'll see if we can see her from the highway coming up here. I've actually never been to this supercharger, but it's another one off the list for the car. So let's see if we can see the supercharger. Negativo. Perhaps it was over there. Anyway, just a couple more miles, 8 miles to our destination, where we are going to charge up the Mustang Mach-E on Electrify America. And I'm hoping for a more positive session. You can also see that Co-Pilot 360 just canceled. It's actually been amazing right up to this point, where the sun's at the perfect angle to blind the cameras. But I have to say, that's fine. I was impressed with how well this system performed with the sun pointed right at it. Here, it's direct view. It's got to be tough for it to see anything. Even me, it's tough for me to see anything at all. That's crazy bright. And the sun here is so strong that it really, you start to feel like you're burning on your skin. Also, for whatever reason, the angle of this hood was the perfect angle for the sun to just shine right into my face this entire drive. I'm gonna be sunburnt on my right cheek so bad tomorrow. Here we are exiting off our exit at Fort Morgan, Colorado. We stopped here on our Cannonball trip. You can see some level 2 chargers at the Best Western Plus there. It's a good backup to have just in case, but let's hope not. Down to 9% state of charge, which should work well. One pedal driving, bringing us to a very smooth and nice stop there, have to say. Really love the way this car cruises down the highway. When the sun hits the co-pilot cameras, though, it just jolts the car to the left. So you really got to be ready if this car gets blinded by the sun, because it was just going full left at every opportunity, which I thought was pretty interesting for sure. Electrify America stations are just over there, and they look nice and free and clear, so let's get this thing plugged in. Okay, I have activated this 350 kilowatt charger, another ABB unit. We're gonna give it a go and see how it does. Plugged in. I went to go charge onto that one over there. Don't know if you can see, but it says it's unavailable. Let's see how well this works and what kind of peak speeds we can get. The highest I've seen, I think, is 165 kilowatts on Mustang Mach-E, something like this right around there. So let's see how this does. Really windy here. Got the cable cooling going. That means the car's requesting some serious power from this unit. Contactors just clicked on the Mustang side. 31 cents a kilowatt hour. We are in Colorado. We are able to charge by kilowatt hour, which I believe is more fair than charging by the minute. On the current rate, though, for most cars, it's more expensive, of course. 71 kilowatts. Let's see what it ramps up to. 116. Everyone's looking at the Mustang here. This is pretty funny. Everyone just comes by and looks. 144 kilowatts. And we'll just let this thing ramp up and charge until we have enough juice to get home. 153. Oh yeah. Some interesting things I'm noticing. I put in let's go home, for example, and it said go to the Electrify America station. I am here. It should just know that I'm here, and it should tell me how long I have to charge for to get here. But basically it says charge to 43%, and then that should give me a 10% buffer to get to home. Nice little trick with a Mustang Mach-E is if you park next to the EA charger like this, if you're close enough, you can reach out and hit the screen to keep your eye on charging power. With Electrify America, it goes back to this home screen, which is kind of annoying because now I have no idea how fast it's charging. So let me open the door. My guess is we've tapered off peak charging rate. Again, that is a timed limit. I think it only gives you 300 seconds or 160 seconds, something like this at max power. So we're touching a return. My guess is we'll be down in the 100 kilowatt range. Yep, 108. So as a little test, let's unplug, replug back in, and see if we can get up to 160 kilowatts or 150, because if so, then the Mustang charging curve is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So let's unplug, replug back in. If this shoots up way high and holds for at least 30 seconds, we're leaving time on the table right now. All right, so I have unplugged, replugged back in. The charger is doing the initiating for the handshakes. I have to say, compared to the Taycan I just had, the handshakes are going better, but I always have good luck on ABB charging units. The new signets are pretty good, but I don't know. The ABB to me just seems a little bit more robust, but you can all disagree with me in the comments. Beautiful sunset here at Walmart. Couldn't ask for a better location. Maybe you could, but I don't know if there is anything much better around here in eastern Colorado. So let's see what kind of speeds we're getting if my theory is correct, and it is correct. 150 kilowatts right there. Oh man, so the best way to charge 160 kilowatts a Mach-E is to let it charge at max, disconnect it as soon as it tapers, plug it back in, charge at max, disconnect, plug it back in, and that should give you the fastest charging speed. Look at this, 161 kilowatts. That just shows you how silly this charging curve is, and why I hope they change it in the future software. Here comes Alyssa, and I guess I'm gonna grab an iPhone cable because my phone is running on fumes and I don't have one here. She says there's an extra in the Tesla. Nice of her to come by to drop that off. I think it's beeping at me because I left it on. But yeah, let's see what she's up to. Hey love, how's your trip going?
It's long.
Long? Well, you have enough juice to get home?
Yep.
You don't need to Chatamo?
Nope.
Well, I'm ready to go as well, actually. So can you just grab me my iPhone cable? USB-C or A, doesn't matter. I think the Mustang has both. Are you interested to hear about the charging curve on the Mustang?
No.
No, you don't care?
No.
All right, give me 1 second and then you can follow me home. We had charged up to 55% at that last station. I think it's only 84 miles to get home, so that will be no problem at all. Overcharged a little bit waiting for Alyssa, and hey, the Mustang actually was pretty quick to charge up there. I thought I have you. Look, I do have her on mute. And why is she talking? This car's got a couple little bugs with it. We're finding a couple little bugs. Off we go. What a gorgeous way to end the day. We had a beautiful sunrise, and now we have a beautiful sunset. Cruising along on Copilot 360 while Alyssa behind me is cruising along on autopilot. And two very different electric cars, but both very neat in their own way. You can see the view of the mountains off in the distance just slightly as we're approaching the Rockies. Gotta love it. Look at those reflections off the hood. This car is so new, it looks silky. It almost looks like the ocean. It's actually pretty cool how that blue paint with that much sculpting on the hood reflects the light. When the sun's at the wrong spot, it reflects it right into your eyes. But on this type of lighting, wow, it's beautiful. In some dense traffic now, I gotta say, Mustang's pretty maneuverable. I've taken this out of whisper mode, which is its sort of efficiency cruising mode, and I have put it into engage, which is like the normal drive, and then there's unbridled. I hate the names of these things. I think that's really silly, but that's okay. And yep, got a Evo pulling on here. Just a Lancer, not an Evo. Did put a wing on it though. So now we are heading home. We're at 29% state of charge, 24 miles to go. Should arrive with quite a big buffer, and that is totally fine. The Mustang is actually a really good road tripper. I think if they can get the charging thing fixed, seems to have really good range. Really no different than road tripping our Model 3. The charging sessions have just been a little bit longer. But I think we'll do a road trip battle between this and a Model Y and really figure out which is the better road tripping car.